I hope as I give my testimony to you, you won't just be sort of sitting back and thinking of it as a story that could be in the Reader's Digest or something, but that you would think of it as a candle that you can hold on to that you may need now, or you might need a week from now, tomorrow, 5 years from now. I don't know, but if you would think of my testimony as a candle to hold on to. Well, when I was young, growing up, I was a real brat. I was a mischief girl. I loved to get into everything. I have a big family. There's 6 kids in my family. And as I was growing up, I beat them all up and fought with them and just had a great time. And I loved to have mud fights with the girl down the street. I loved to take tap dancing lessons. I had visions of being a tap dancer, being on shows and stuff when I was older. And my oldest brother played high school football, and we would all go to his high school football games. And everybody else in my family went to watch Todd play football. But I went to watch the cheerleaders, and I would just stare at the cheerleaders, and they were, to me, just, the President of the United States. I mean, I was just, as a little girl, just was in love with the cheerleaders and just couldn't wait till the day that I could be a cheerleader. Well, my freshman year in high school, I was a cheerleader, and, typical cheerleader. And I loved to play tennis with my family. And I was just kind of the person who loved to always be on the go, to always going. And I loved to have fun. I didn't want anyone to have fun if I wasn't there. I always wanted to be in the center of fun. And that was sort of my motto for life. Well, when I was 16 years old, I went with a group of teenagers to Virginia Beach on a children's mission project. And that was real fun, speaking of fun. What we did was we had a Bible school for the children on the beach. And the way we would attract their attention is that we would build huge sandcastles and put flowers all around the sandcastles, and then these children who were vacationing on the beach would see the castles and run over to it and wonder what was going on. Well, once we built a rapport with them, and they trusted us. We would play on the sand and play in the water with them, and then we were able to teach Bible stories to them and teach them Christian songs, had puppet shows, and just played with them, and we were able to share our love for the Lord with these children. And that was a real special time for me, to be on the beach having fun, but being able to share the Lord with little children at the same time. A couple days after I came home from this beach project, I woke up one morning and my right leg was completely numb. And I can't really explain the feeling. It was a very strange type of sensation. The only way I can really describe it, the ladies can relate to this. I don't know, I couldn't think of a way that men could relate, but it almost felt as if I had 4 or 5 pairs of nylons on my leg. Well, this was in between my sophomore and junior year in high school, and besides this terrible numbness in my body, I was extremely tired out. I kind of felt like I had mono, and just real worn out all the time. So the first part of my junior year in high school, I had tutors come to my home, and I did school at home, that type of thing. But by the end of my senior year in high school, I felt great. All the numbness was gone. I was back to full strength. I just was ready to have that Janet Connect spirit, ready to go again. And I was excited to go off to school. I decided to go to a small Bible college in Grand Rapids, Michigan. As I was going, I had 2 things in the back of my mind. First of all, I was trying to clearly forget about all that happened to me when I was 16 and to pretend as if it was just a pinched nerve, a strange thing that happened, to just go on with my life. The second thing I had in mind as I was going to school was I had my life planned out of how I wanted it to go. I felt like, people graduate from high school, then they go to college, graduate from college, get married, And I had a desire to learn the scripture and to meet a nice Christian man. And so I wanted to teach Bible and get married. So I went to Reformed Bible College. And during my year there, Elizabeth Elliot came and spoke to the student body. She challenged these Bible college students to not just be nominal Christians, but to really deepen our walk with the Lord and to be a hero for the Lord, to love him in a new way and to give him our desires, our plans, and our dreams. And that just really made an impact on my life. And she came about mid-year. For the rest of that year, I had a different kind of prayer time that I've ever had. I pleaded with the Lord that I didn't want to be a nominal Christian. I wanted him to take my life and to take my dreams and desires and to do with me what he had to make me completely his.
In the waves along the coastline, a young girl walks alone. Laughing, she hears children at play, holding to the shoreline like she's holding on to a dream. She couldn't know how her life would change that day. Why me? Why is this happening? What of all my dreams? But you said, blessed be your body, blessed be your name. Today you have been chosen to carry the hope that a Savior came. Broken body will show the world its own hurt and pain. Your smile will draw them to the hope for which I came. She said, may it be done unto me. May it be done unto me. May it be done unto me, Lord my God. May it be done unto me. May it be done unto me. Take my body, it is my offering. Lord, use my body, it is my offering. My offering, it is my offering.
I met Janet in the summer of 1987. She was visiting from Columbia, South Carolina, where her father had moved, and I was attending her former church, Wallace Presbyterian, and was having a picnic at my parents' house in southern Maryland for the young adults group. And Janet came. Janet has the most beautiful voice. It's the first thing that attracted me to her. Just uninhibited, strong, mischievous, joyful. Just the most beautiful voice I'd ever heard. In fact, I remember thinking when I met her and she spoke that I had heard the voice of an angel, and it cut me right to my heart and actually left me speechless. I remember a friend of hers wheeling her up to the picnic table where I was sitting and just being struck by both her beauty and her great sense of humor and joy, and struck in such a way that I was speechless. I had few words to say to her because I'd never met anybody that to me seemed so uninhibited. And she asked me how I was doing and just kind of laughed and smiled. And she wasn't able to open her crabs that day. We're having a crab feast down there. So I helped her to do that. But what I was left with when she went back home was just really struck to the heart about somebody with a deep sense of joy and a deep sense of uninhibitedness, just great joy in the Lord.
When I first saw you, it's your song that I heard. You sang so sweetly, you didn't need any words. When you spoke, how my heart was unfurled. 'Cause your life spoke louder, so much louder. Your life spoke louder than words. Then I'd watched you see this truth I had heard. You walk so surely, your joy beyond words. When you smiled, I saw the one that you served. 'Cause your heart spoke louder, so much louder. Your heart spoke louder than words. Now we're together, it's your song I still hear. You sing so sweetly, your words are so clear. When it seemed for all these years your voice was not heard, your life spoke louder, so much louder. Your life spoke louder than words.
It was a mysterious challenge and a really beautiful thing. When we first got married, we wondered if there were any other couples that had gone through the same experience we were about to go through. And what we found was people asked us to kind of write the book on what it's like to be married in a couple with a disability. So it had its challenges from a logistic standpoint, but Janet just had the best sense of humor and the greatest depth of faith about any kind of trial that we ever went through. One of the things that Janet always wanted to do, she wanted to have 6 children. That was always her dream from her earliest remembrance, was she wanted to have 6 kids. Well, the doctors told us that we couldn't even have 1 child. It would be too dangerous for the MS, and if she had children that she wouldn't be able to take care of them. 1995, Janet was getting significantly worse. She was down to 85 pounds. She couldn't eat food any longer, so a feeding tube was inserted in her stomach, so she had to be tube fed. But that year, too, her stomach kept getting bigger, and her mom was visiting us trying to help take care of Janet, and the doctors told us that we were feeding her too fast, and that was causing her stomach to get bigger. But her mom gave her a secret pregnancy test, and lo and behold, we found out that Janet was 5 months pregnant. So immediately they put her into Georgetown Hospital for 3 months and said that she needed to stay there until our baby, our son, was born on January 16th, and this was in September. So Janet was put in September, and she was in really, really bad shape. She had 4 teams of doctors. She wasn't lucid, but she was determined to have this baby. She was still 85 pounds, and the doctors weren't sure if she was going to live through the pregnancy. And I remember the day I came in on December 4th. I was visiting her every day in the hospital and being part of her caretaking team in the hospital. I came into her private room on December 4th, and the doctor said, well, she's been taken to delivery. She's going to deliver a baby today, which was 6 weeks early. And I asked the nurse how she was doing, and the nurse said, well, when she was going down the hallway, she was pointing her thumb up in the air. And so I went to the delivery room, and the doctor said, suit up, you're going to be in the operating room in an hour, and your other caregiver needs to be there too, because Janet needs to be held on the operating table because she's going to fall off because she has no use of her muscles. So we accompanied them into the operating room, and Janet was scheduled for a C-section. So the doctors began to operate. Jamie was delivered, our son, less than 5 pounds. The nurses took him, and because they thought that he would have a lot of trouble because of Janet's very, very difficult birth and pregnancy, they thought that he would have a lot of physical trouble. They rushed him immediately to neonatal care and put him in an incubator. Janet stopped the operation as they were proceeding to stitch her back out, and she stopped the doctors and the nurses, and she couldn't speak at the time, but she could spell with her left hand. And she spelled out, letter by letter, as I translated to the doctors for her, "If I die today, I'd like to see my son just once." So the nurses rushed back to neonatal, grabbed her son, Jamie, our son, and allowed Janet to hold him. She held him, and then with a willing heart, she gave up her life. She lived through that, but what a beautiful scene to see, her willingness to give up her life for her son.
Dear Jamie, can you see the sun rising in my heart today? My tomorrows, they never come, so there's just one thing I must say. If these legs could run and chase you around, and if these arms could rise to hold you tight, if these ears could hear you laugh and hear you cry, and if this mouth could say, I love you, I would count it all the loss. You can't see Jesus in me. Can you see him? He bears his cross, this cross of pain for me. Dear Jamie, can you see the sun laughing in my heart today? My tomorrows will soon be yours. We'll be together on that day. When these legs will run and chase you around, when these arms will rise to hold you tight, when these ears will hear your laughter and your joy, when this mouth will say, I love you. All I've got this, and all the gain, 'cause you found Jesus in me. Can you see him? He bore my pain. Now I'm running free. Can you see me running? I'm free.
My theme verse, the verses that the Lord has given to me during this time are found in 2 Corinthians. And Paul says that unless I should be exalted above measure by the abundance of the revelation, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I be exalted above measure. Concerning this thing I pleaded with the Lord 3 times that it might depart from me. And he said to me, My grace is sufficient for you. My strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, most gladly I would rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in needs, in persecutions, in distresses, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. I just can't tell you how thankful I am for those verses. They've been something I've been able to really cling to during this time. I think probably the most important thing from these verses that I've learned is that through the sufferings and struggles that we have, we are more enabled to be totally dependent on the Lord. And it seems like here the Lord is saying to Paul, you don't need extra things to make you satisfied. My grace is sufficient for you. That's all that you need. You don't need good health, or you don't need everything in life to be going great.
Without hope, we've got no reason to live. With all these burdens, Lord, what can I give? 'Cause I want to run away, I can't fight this anymore. But I'm not leaving, there's got to be more. It's your tender grace written on her face. Tender grace keeps me here. It's your tender grace written on her face. Tender grace dries these tears. I'm not angry, I'm not afraid anymore. And I just wish I knew what you had in store. 'Cause I'm not running, oh, I'm standing in your light. And where we go, and I won't put up a fight. It's your tender grace written on her face. Tender grace keeps me here. It's your tender grace written on her face. Tender grace makes it clear.
In a long sustained illness, it's really difficult sometimes to sustain hope because it seems like it might last forever. And Janet never doubted the Lord showing up on a daily basis. So she smiled through more adversity than people can ever imagine. I sometimes lost hope, and I often found hope and healing in watching her faith and being attracted to that. And really for our marriage and for our life together, that was the beautiful surprise, is a hope that lasts through eternity, that can never be washed or taken away. That's one of the great things that Janet taught me.
I woke up this morning and I looked into your eyes. Still a trace of mischief there, and no trace of compromise. Baby, you're a fighter, you've kept my hope alive. And every moment you're still by my side is a beautiful surprise. You got a hold on me, don't let go. You've got got my heart, you've got my soul. Now you're looking at me funny, 'cause you see I'm smiling. Not sure where we're going, but we've got more songs to sing. Baby, let's meet tomorrow with hearts open wide. 'Cause maybe on the other side of hoping is a beautiful surprise.
We all have handicaps. And that really made me think that we do. It doesn't have to be just a physical handicap. Loneliness, a broken relationship, financial needs, anything like that is a handicap. Any struggle or hard time that we're having is a definite handicap. And it's kind of really exciting because it makes you special. Because then, you can be enclosed in the Lord's hands, and he can say to you, Janet, my grace is sufficient for you through this struggle, through this divorce, through this retarded son, through the loneliness you're experiencing right now. You can draw all your strength on me, and your weakness will come out on my strength. And of anything I wanted to say this morning to you, that's probably the most important, to be excited about if you do have a struggle you're going through, because James tells us to count it all joy when you meet various trials, for you know the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. And that verse really makes me think that if life was going smoothly along and there was never any struggle or hard time, why would we need the Lord? Would we really put our dependence on him? Would we really feel special? Because everything's great. I don't really need the Lord. And I think not to say that if someone's life is going smoothly, something's wrong, but I think it's important to stop and examine our life to see, is everything in life smoothly? Am I dependent on my own self and my own strength? Or am I using this hard time I'm going through to be dependent on the Lord? And to just count it joy for that trial, because the Lord is conforming us and shaping us and molding us through that struggle to make us to be like him.
7 years old, bright-eyed and smiling, little girl, prayer of faith, invited Jesus in.
I don't really know how to end. I was trying to think of a great conclusion. I guess the only thing I can leave with you is that is to remember the candle. You know, right now you may not be going through a struggle or a hard time, but I just ask that you would keep your candle lit for when you go into the dark cave. I don't know if these things, being dependent and being joyful and being thankful, can help you at all. But I know as I've studied Scripture in my own walk with the Lord, they've been a great help to me.
Say Merry Christmas to Mama.
Merry Christmas, Mama.
Can you give her a big kiss? Can you give Mama a big kiss on the cheek? On the cheek? Oh, what a nice boy. What a good boy. You want to sing a song, one more song with me, and then we'll watch VeggieTales?
Jesus was me, and I know.
For the Bible tells me so, little ones to him belong.
I love you, Mama.